from the 704 once again for episode 138 of the A15 Exchange. We got plenty to talk about this week, alright? We got combat sports, his return. We got plenty happening in boxing. We have the World Baseball Classic, and of course, I said it every week. I've said it pretty much every week. It was going to be a chaotic March, and it's been a very, very chaotic March Madness. And of course, Caitling Clark did Caitling Clark things, so yeah, plenty to talk about. John Wick, Succession is back, so plenty to talk about this week. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And oh my goodness, this is my first episode as a YouTube partner. So thank you. Thank you once again. I said my thanks, of course, on the reaction stuff. But to my audience here, thank you as well. Yeah. It's a good week last week. That was a really cool accomplishment to knock off the goal list. But yeah, appreciate all the love lately. And yeah, let's keep the momentum rolling. But like I always say, everything you're looking for can be found in the description, whether that's timestamps. You want to hear me talk about the World Baseball Classic, or you really want to hear me talk about March Madness, you're not here for anything else, feel free to skip ahead. Timestamps are provided in the description along with all my social medias. But without further ado, let's get this thing on the road. Combat sports, alright? Combat sports. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, #1 contenders match, basically at 168 for who will face Canelo Alvarez next. And well, Caleb Plant, he's been down that ride once, so a lot of people want to see David Benavidez as he was champion 2 years ago, but then got caught for cocaine, caught for snow. So we had to reel it back in. Alright, we had to reel it back in. He lost the titles, had to build himself back up. He's been the most ducked fighter at 168, to be honest. Before Canelo went all Thanos and said, I'm taking every single title. So I think that's the matchup a lot of people wanted to see, and it's the matchup we're going to get. It was a rough first 6 rounds, however, for Benavidez. Plant did a really good job. He was looking slick. He was looking good. He was looking fast. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because eventually Benavidez was able to wear him down. Eventually he was able to start getting those combos that he wasn't able to get in those first 6 rounds. He started seeing a little bit of that jab. The jab wasn't as much of a factor as I think a lot of people thought it would factor in to be. But Benavidez, I mean, honestly, it could have got stopped a lot earlier because he was just beating the brakes. Probably took some considerable, years off of Caleb Plant's career by this going the whole 12 rounds, but nonetheless, Benavidez gets the win. Unanimous decision. He gets the #1 contender spot, and he will face Canelo Alvarez next. Now, I would be amiss if I did not point out the very, very obvious. What was Kenny Bayless doing in this? What was Kenny Bayless doing in this fight? I mean, what was he doing? It was the worst refereeing performance I've seen in quite some time. It was the epitome of mediocre, I mean, honestly, if you wanted to accuse him of potentially trying to throw the fight in the way of Caleb Plant, or if you told me he had about $1,000, a couple grand, maybe even 100,000 on Caleb Plant, I would believe you. I would believe you. Because the refereeing was that bad and it was that lopsided. Minor infraction. Big time warning for David Benavidez. Caleb Plant literally held the entire fight. Was holding on so he didn't go down in those later rounds. Not even on warning. Instances he was holding David Benavidez his arm so he can only fight with one hand. No, nothing. Couldn't see it. Apparently Kenny Bayless couldn't see it. Okay? Because apparently Kenny Bayless was not refereeing that fight. Stevie Wonder was upstanding and he was refereeing that boxing match because that is the only reason a ref could be so blind. Be so blind. I mean, it was egregiously bad. Egregiously. Disgusting behavior on the highest level of the sport. Kenny Bayless shouldn't be anywhere near elite boxing if that's the performance we're going to get from a ref. It was like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It was terrible. No calls, the infractions. Every time Benavidez gets a little bit of momentum, let's break them up. I don't know what Kenny Bayless was thinking. I don't know if, somebody, slipped him some money underneath. I don't know what happened, but Bayless was just mediocre. It was awful. He pretty much stole the show from what was a solid fight, besides all the infractions that just did not get called. I'm glad Benavidez didn't get robbed on the scorecards because this would have been an all-time horrific moment for the sport of boxing. But nonetheless, David B gets it done. He gets Canelo next. Jose Ramirez. Pretty similar situation, except Richard Commey, of course, the gatekeeper to the stars. He was taking on Ramirez in this situation. Ramirez trying to get another shot at that 140 title. He will get another shot because of the 11th round KO. Bodywork made Commey say no mas. That was that. He will probably be facing the winner of that Josh Taylor, Regis Profe, or Teofimo Lopez fight. And I will be watching that one because it should be a good fight. That first Ramirez-Taylor fight was one of the best fights of the year. I think we talked about that. I think that even made the thumbnail. So, yeah. We'll be very interested to see, what happens there. But yeah, shout out to Ramirez for, getting another crack at it. UFC, Corey Sandhagen, the Sandman versus Marlon Chito Vera. I don't know why this was a split decision. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Not going to, smooth it over. Nah. Do not know why this was a split decision. All right, Corey Sandhagen pretty definitively, you could honestly argue a 5-0. But somehow, some way, again, it was just not a great week for the judges. It was not a great week for the refs. It was not a great week in combat sports for those officials. It just was not. Because somebody somehow gave Chito Vera this fight. And I do not understand it. Was this fight line? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But Sandhagen got the win, and that's really all that matters. He dominated. He looked like that guy. Will that be good enough to, make him king of 135? I don't really know. But, yeah, congratulations to him. He called out Rob after the fight. I would be interested in seeing that. And, Sandhagen continues to build himself back up. Potentially to fight Aljo again, or I guess whoever has the title at that point, because Aljo did mention something about going up, or it could be Cejudo. Who knows? We'll see. Holly Holm. All right, just women's bantamweight sucks. All right, I'm not gonna sugarcoat. It sucks. It sucks. I don't even know if they have rankings. Do they have rankings for women's bantamweight? Y'all can let me know. I do not know if they even have rankings for women's. It's that bad. It's that bad. There's no depth. All right, Holly Holm is at 41. Still, with all due respect to Holly. All right, she's a legend, future Hall of Famer. All due respect to Holly. But Yana Santos, maybe it's a new kid. No, just no. Holly worked her, was taking her down. Holly's a striker and was winning the ground exchanges against Yana Santos. At 41. Not in her prime. I have nothing to say about the women's bantamweight division. It's bad. It's just bad. Plain and simple, it's just bad. Alright? Shout out to home though, she gets the win, but UFC might need an assault division because it's not good. There's no quality there. But that was combat sports. And this is the World Baseball Classic, or the MLB. It's probably MLB. I probably put MLB up there because I'm going to talk about more than the World Baseball Classic. But of course, the World Baseball Classic included last week with an incredible final between Samurai Japan and the United States of America. Of course, it even went to the most anime, manga, TV show, movie, cinematic way possible. All right, the two best players in the world. Okay, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. The big story, teammates, best players in the world. Ohtani pitching, Trout hitting, 2 outs, 9th inning, game, championship, everything on the line. All right, everything on the line. And Shohei Ohtani threw 4 straight 100 miles per hour pitches and then struck out Mike Trout on the most disgusting slider I've ever seen in my life. Firmly placing him as the best player in the world and giving Samurai Japan the World Baseball Classic for a 3rd time. Ohtani also wins MVP, but yeah, that moment was absolutely insane. Again, for all the people out there, I saw you on Twitter, I think KFC for Barstool said it, listen, get out of here. Bye. Adios. Salut. Alright? The World Baseball, it's staying. It's staying. The people enjoyed it. Alright? It probably made a lot of money with the crowds they were pulling in. And oh, by the way, the players enjoyed it. People care. They care. You saw the way Japan said, they care. You saw how down they care. They care. People care about the World Baseball Classic. I know that it sucks. Oh, Altuve got hurt. And when Diaz got hurt. But you know what? They cared as well. They probably wouldn't change it. You could get hurt in spring training too, so it really doesn't make a difference. Ask Reese Hoskins, who was in a contract year. Should we not have spring training? The World Baseball Classic matters. It proved why it mattered. A lot of people that don't even watch baseball regularly tuned into the World Baseball Classic just to watch. I don't know what rating Ohtani versus Trout did, but it probably did some insane rating for a baseball game, especially nowadays. So, yeah, I don't want to hear it. World Baseball Classic belongs. Shout out to Japan. Shout out to Richard Commey, who came alive in these last couple games. Yoshida, who had an argument to win MVP. Unfortunately, he's now a Red Sox, and I have to hate him. Trey Turner, do I have to give a shout out to him? Because he was amazing. He was amazing. Down the stretch for the U.S. was our best player. Probably would have won MVP if we won. But nonetheless, it wasn't to be. The Japan team was a lot of fun to watch. Shout out to Newt. Hopefully he does well with the Cardinals. And yeah, Japan gets to win. World Baseball Classic matters, though. It matters. Spring training. Let's talk about it. But really only who made the team. Because we had a pair of top prospects make the team. I think the number 4 and number 5 prospect, actually, funny enough, for the Cardinals, Jordan Walker, he makes the Cardinals, which is great. And of course for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe. I am so happy. I am so happy Volpe made it. No disrespect to IKF, but just I am so delighted to hear Anthony Volpe is going to be on the opening day roster. Much needed. Much needed. Now, what this is, I think this is the bigger story here, though, with Walker and Volpe making these teams is this is what the MLB needs. It needs. We saw how fun seeing the youth movement, the emergence of Vlad and Tatis, who's back now, and just the rest of Acuna and all these players added last year, right? It's fun seeing these new young stars come in and kind of take over here in the MLB. It's entering what could be a potential golden age, you could say, for baseball in terms of quality. But to have that, you got to let your young players have the opportunity, and a lot of stuff with the CBA. Previously, it had been a little shaky. Teams would keep them so they could have that extra year, wouldn't promote guys. Maybe we're seeing that change a little bit here with Walker and Volpe. Maybe just a little bit. Not saying we are, but maybe just a little bit. Because easily in the past, we could have seen those two guys, especially Volpe, held down in AAA just so, we could get that extra year of arbitration. But we didn't see it. So, yeah, shout out to both those teams. Shout out to St. Louis, shout out to New York for getting it done, promoting your best players and letting the fans see and get those young stars those opportunities to grow, get better, and see if they can live up to the hype. So, yeah, very excited to see what Walker and Volpe can do. But, yeah, I think that's overall very good for baseball. Shout out to Dylan Cruz of LSU, future #1 overall pick probably. He has been going absolutely bonkers. We might need to talk about college baseball very, very soon. But that was the MLB. That brings me to entertainment. And we do. No music again this week, but luckily we had a couple different things happen in movies and TVs. And of course we're going to talk about John Wick 4. Alright, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, run. Alright, run. Okay? Run. Mosey on off. Go. Okay? Alright, you're gone. Okay? If you're still here, spoiler alert. It was fantastic. It was a long movie, but it didn't feel that long because the pacing was so well done. Where do I start? Shout out to, I fell in love with Rina Samayama. I fell in love with Rina, okay? I fell in love with the character as Akira. I want to see her more. I want to see her go after Kane, okay? After Kane and that was also really cool. Just seeing two legends, Donnie Chen. Oh my God. It was just so clean. Donnie, he's just a legend, man. He's just a legend. He was great as Kane. And yeah, I want to see what happens there. Of course, we got that after credit scene, with Akira and Kane. So, want to see what happens there. I was more intrigued rather than the ballerina series that they're making. I was more intrigued with her story and kind of seeing what happens next. But yeah, Rina absolutely killed it as Akira. That entire Osaka Continental looked dope. That entire scene was dope. The set pieces were unmatched. Again, it's John Wick. That's what they do. But it was just nonstop action from set piece to set piece. The overlooking shot in that French motel around the streets of Paris. Just everything was just... And it had a good amount of humor as well. The movie was great. Alright, it was great. Go watch it. The Marquis was a compelling villain. It was an interesting villain. Bill Skarsgård just plays a scumbag better than anybody else in Hollywood. Winston and the Bowery King, once again, were great. Ian McShane, Lawrence Fishburne, everything were great. Alright, they're great foils to the Marquis, and of course, friends to the great John Wick. The Tracker was an interesting character. I like that they didn't connect him to anybody, though I was wondering, was there a connection with Halle Berry's character in the last movie? But yeah, he was a cool, interesting character, had a motive, It was cool to see him go about that. And of course, is John really dead? We will see. Is he really dead? I know. I was watching. I was like, are they really about to kill him? That was a very compelling and that was like a nice way to end. Like if they wanted to end him or have him die right there, that was the right way to do it. So of course we're supposed to be in chapter 5, and so I'm very interested to see if he's actually dead. But nonetheless, JW4, absolutely fantastic. Go do yourself a treat and go watch that movie because it was great. All right, it was great. Want to know what else is great? Succession. I would play the music, but I don't want to get copywritten on this. Okay, I want to at least make money off of this, because yeah. So I won't play it, but we're in our heads. Alright, you know the whole theme. Alright, it's a banger. I posted a TikTok about it. Okay, classic theme. It returned. Alright, season 4, the final season of Succession is back. And Logan Roy is in his finest of forms. His finest of forms. It was Logan's birthday, and you know what? The kids beat Logan on his birthday. How about that? It's a minor victory, and honestly, I spent basically the last half of the episode waiting for Logan to pull the rug, as he always done from under the Roy children's feet, but it didn't happen. It did not happen. They actually got a win on Logan on his birthday. I mean, it was everything you love from Succession. All right, the kids going back and forth, bickering and sometimes agreeing and trying to work together. Everybody's scheming. We had war rooms. We had phone calls back and back, going over deals. It was everything. It was everything. We had the disgusting, the disgusting brothers? That's what Tom and Greg and Tom just continuing to manipulate Greg, and it's just great. The disgusting brothers, you gotta love them. But the most intriguing part of this entire episode was Tom and Shiv, and the deterioration of their relationship, and also seeing maybe they actually did love each other. You know, especially in that last scene, which was absolutely incredible. That was Emmy award-winning stuff. But yeah, it was a beautiful scene at the end there. Shiv and Tom, Shiv almost breaking out, as she did kind of throughout the episode, with Tom moving on and her just kind of being like, we gave it a go. Them literally laying down, basically saying, yeah, I guess this is over, while holding each other's hands. Sweet moment. All right, it was great. It was great television. All right, Succession, one of the greatest shows of all time. One of the greatest shows of all time. And it's back. It's back. It's back. I'm having to watch it live because I don't have HBO Max currently, which is terrible, but you know, nonetheless, we still getting it in and we still talking about it here. But yeah, Succession is back. Hit the theme. That was entertainment. Quick water break there. Because, I mean, this is the biggest, this is the main event. This is the main, college basketball, this is the main event. All right, this is the main event. And I have to talk about both women's basketball. I have to talk about men's basketball. Obviously, women's part might be more, actually, no, I can't say that. Can't say that. We'll get to it, though. We'll let the men go first. Because all of their Elite 8 games are done, and the Elite 8 games for the women are still going, so. In fact, they're probably won by the time you're watching this. It's happening. But we'll talk about the men first because it is just, it's ridiculous. All right, it is, I said, week after week, for the past, 4 months, I said it's going to be an insane, ridiculous, chaotic, mad NCAA tournament. All right? And I said repeatedly, I said, this is the weakest selection of number 1 seeds. It feels like everybody can get clipped. I feel like all of these teams can simultaneously, actually I don't feel like any of these teams can win the national championship. That's what I said. And you know what? Maybe I should have picked my bracket listening to myself, because evidently I was right. I was right, because none of the number 1 seeds, none of the number 2 seeds, hell, none of the number 3 seeds made the Final Four. We have a rather NIT-ish looking Final Four, but you know what? Chaos reigns. It is king in March, and it is mad. So let's talk about it, all right? FAU. I saw FAU play this year. As you know, I go to Charlotte. I'm going to talk about our glory in the CBI. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I saw FAU. We almost beat FAU. I knew FAU was good. I didn't know they were Final Four good. But nonetheless, here we are. They took out Kansas State in a very good game, 79-76. Marquise Noel, of course, is who we have to talk about, though, regardless of who won, because he was phenomenal. In this sense, though, he was phenomenal, really all season. But he took star precedent in the NCAA tournament, emerged as the star, honestly, at the moment. up to this game of the NCAA tournament. The man had 30-12 in this game. Fortunately, couldn't get that last shot off. But besides that, he had 20-19 the game before in the Sweet 16. Follows that up with 30-12. Was the floor general of the tournament. Was the player of the tournament, I dare say. He was phenomenal for Kansas State. He was the engine that made that team go. They also had Keontae Johnson, but he didn't play as big as a role in this game. And unfortunately, FAU, I will say this one thing, and I said it when I saw them play with my own eyes. They are a team. There is no star on FAU. John L. Davis is good, but there is no star on FAU. There's just a good team. Everybody contributes. It can be one guy this game, it can be one guy the next, which can be very, very good in March, and it is both very, very, very well for the Owls. Elijah Martin, who was public enemy number 1 last week, is pushed more towards the hero side. He had 17, led all scores in this game, besides, of course, that Marquise Noel guy. And, he led FAU. He had 17. Vladimir Golding, the big man. The rebounding was key. The effort. That is really what changed the game here for FAU, and I think put them over the top, is the effort. The effort plays. They made all of the effort plays in this game. I mean, everything, all of the dirty work, all of it. All of the little things that can make you great, FAU did. And that is why they won this game. Golding was a big reason why he had 14 and 13 in this game. And yeah, he was that big man presence that they needed inside and got the job done against Kansas State. And they got the win. Credit to FAU. I know I said they were public enemy number 1, but you know what? Chaos reigns. They have been profiteers of the chaos. And really were underseeded, let's be honest. And I'm glad to see them getting the respect. Shout out to the Conference USA boys. UConn has to be the overwhelming favorite because, let's see, they're undefeated in national championship games, and they're 6-0 when the Final Four is in Texas. And oh, by the way, they're butchering everybody because it's UConn. Whenever the tournament gets mad chaotic and UConn is somewhat decent, they go on a win. It does not matter who's the coach. It can be Calhoun, Ollie, and in this case, Hurley. It does not matter. They just somehow, they thrive on it. They thrive on it. They butchered Gonzaga. This game was not close. 82-54 after Gonzaga played the game of their life. Another instant classic versus UCLA. Drew Timme almost went out bad in that one, but Julian Strawther pulled up from my crib and hit the game winner. They didn't really show up the same way in this game, and unfortunately, Timme's career is over. Strawther, we'll see if he goes back or not. But nonetheless, this was all about Jordan Hawkins and UConn. All right, Hawkins, he's been the guy alongside Saganu for UConn on this run. He had 20 points in this game. He's making himself some money. All right, Jordan Hawkins is making himself some money in this tournament, and UConn has been money. All right, Hurley's team has been fantastic, and it just feels like it's one of those years for UConn. In my opinion, they should be the championship favorite. Will they win it? Lord knows. Who knows who's going to win the Final Four? But, I mean, 2 of the teams, it's FAU and UConn. Who are the other 2 teams? All right, who could possibly be the other 2 teams in this insane? San Diego State is one of them. They beat Creighton, 57-56. Yes, Creighton. Yes, and San Diego State as well. I guess SDSU is getting it back for that COVID year with Malachi Flynn, that they kind of got robbed from probably a great run in that tournament. But it is what it is. Lamont Butler went off in this game. He had 18. Kalkbrenner has been the focal point for Creighton. They've died and lived with him all year. One of the most underrated players in the league, in the country, in my opinion. He had 17, but that wasn't enough. That was never going to be enough, especially with a team that plays defense the way that San Diego State does. It is ingrained in their culture, and it is no different here with this edition of the team. All right? They play defense. They will lock you up. They will take your best player out of the game, and you will be left fighting to win this game. Unfortunately, Creighton just ran out of time, and that was all she wrote. SDSU was headed to the Final Four. Well-deserved. First time, once again. Probably would have been the second time, but first time in school history. It's been a chaotic March, and yeah, they're the third piece of this puzzle. So who will be the fourth? Will we have another Big 12 winner? Of course, Baylor, Kansas. Texas was the last hope. And listen, Serge Rice had 15 off the bench. Miami won. Miami won 88-81. I watched my Duke Blue Devils butcher the Miami Hurricanes and thought they would be a non-factor. It wasn't even Isaiah Wong in this game. It was Jordan Miller literally shooting 100% from the field, dropping 27. All 5 starters for Miami hit double figures, scoring at least 11 points. It's just a incredible performance. Jim Larnega, congratulations on your future Hall of Fame bid after this game, and congrats on the Final Four, well deserved. Yeah, Miami. Did not see this coming, but once again, it's been very mad. It's March Madness. I have no words. Honestly, I have no words. Jordan Miller turned into Christian Laettner. Did not see that coming. Texas, Sir Jabari Rice went off, but it didn't work. For the first time all season, it didn't work. Rice goes off. Usually that means the Texas win, as we've recounted many, many times on this show. It did not work for whatever reason. Miami just was the better team, all right? They just could not be stopped. Texas had no answer. And like I said, when all 5 of your starting players go for double figures, likely a good inclination you're going to get the W, and they did just that. The U up good on the men's side. So that means we have a Final Four, just to recap, of Florida Atlantic, Connecticut, San Diego State, and Miami. CBS, I know. Y'all are stressed about the incoming Final Four ratings. It'll probably do a solid rating because, again, it's the Final Four. But I know y'all are stressed. After last year, you had all the Blue Bloods, Nova, Kansas, UNC, Duke. Now you get San Diego State, Miami, UConn, and Florida Atlantic. Chaos personified, as I expected. But yeah, it's been an insane NCAA tournament, and it doesn't appear that it is going to be done yet. Now let's talk about the women, all right? Let's talk about the women, and let's talk about the U again, but not in a good way, all right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, in the Elite 8 for the women's bracket, we have sicko game of the year. All right, if you watch this game in full, I am so sorry. I am so sorry if you watch this game in full. I can't even really say it was a great defensive game, technically, but it was just the worst shooting game we've seen all tournament long. LSU got the win 54-42, but my God. All right. Alexis Morris has been the girl besides Angel Reese for LSU. She was that girl in this game. She had 21. Reese did not shoot well at all. She went 3 for 12. Ended up with 13 and rebounded everything that fell off of the glass with 18 boards. So still got a double-double. I think her 30-something of the year for her. All right. Angel Reese is still going to be Angel Reese regardless. But, once again, this was a sick game that can be hardly described as basketball. These teams went a combined 1 for 27 from the three-point line. Both shot under 30% total, but went 1 for in 2023, shot 1 for 27 from the three-point line. Miami went 0 for 15. LSU went 1 for 12. This was a sick game. And if you like this game, you are a sick student. You are not a good person. Alright? I am so sorry. Or you're just an LSU or Miami fan. But I am so sorry because this was a disgrace to the game of basketball. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting game. From a shot-making perspective, it was disgusting. But shout out to LSU. They're headed to the Final Four. They have not been getting the respect it deserves. So shout out to Kim Mulkey. Shout out to Angel Reese. Shout out to Alexis Morris. Well deserved. Miami, solid run. And yeah, credit where credit's due. But the other elite game, last night, we talked about all year long in the world of college basketball. I literally had to incorporate women's college basketball, which I should have done before, but I had to incorporate it because she was just too entertaining. It's another edition, ladies and gentlemen, of the Caitling Clark Show provided by the 815 Exchange and yours truly. This week's episode included HBL, Haley Van Lith, another one of the best players in the country, and the Louisville Cardinals, as they tried to stop Caitling Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes from making the Final Four. It did not go well. Well, if you're an Iowa fan, it went fantastic, okay? Because Caitling Clark decided to go off for another 40-point triple-double, because it's what she does. It's what she does. But it's also the first 30-point and 40-point triple-double in the history of the NCAA tournament. So congratulations to Caitling Clark on more history. She is the best player on... I'm not going to go that far. She's the best player in the country, and it's not even really a discussion. With all due respect. She is National Player of the Year. She's the best player in the country. She's the best. Bar none. 41, 10, and 12 in an Elite 8 game. It'd be one thing, like I've said before, if she was doing this against no comp. She's doing it against the best of the best every single time. She is the best. She's the most exciting player, pound for pound, man or woman, in college basketball. And there's an argument that can be said she's the best pound for pound, man or woman, in college basketball. All things leveled. She's the best. Simply put, she's the best. She's most entertaining. She's must watch. If you were not watching HBL versus Caitling Clark yesterday, I feel so sorry. HBL herself had 27. Very entertaining player. Very good player. Probably going to go very, very highly. And of course, that absolutely loaded because she's, of course, a part of that legendary 2020 recruiting class of high school women's basketball that has changed college basketball for probably good in terms of coverage. Probably for good. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Caitling Clark has to come back. She can't even leave early because she's not going to be old enough. She's ridiculous, all right? 40-point triple-double in the Elite 8 makes absolutely no sense. Olivia Cochran, also for Louisville, had 20 and 14. But like I said, man, all right, shout out to HBL, Cochran, Louisville, great team, but they ran into a buzzsaw, and that buzzsaw's name is Caitling Clark. She is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I cannot tell you any more than I have. I can't give a greater cosign than I have. Go watch Caitling Clark. Do it. Do it. I don't care if you don't like women's basketball because it doesn't matter because she's the best. All right? She's the best. She's the most entertaining. She's Caitling Clark. She's her. All right? Unfortunately, they're going to probably have to play South Carolina because I'm assuming they're going to beat Maryland. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But, you know, I think South Carolina probably beats Iowa. But nonetheless, go watch it because it'll be very, very high-level basketball. Very, very high level. Caitling Clark is her. The other game is Virginia Tech and OSU. Of course, I have allegiances to Virginia Tech because Elizabeth Kitley and Kayla King are 336 legends. Shout out to Northwest Guilford. So, yeah, hoping they get it done. But nonetheless, should be a very good Final Four in the women's bracket. But, yeah, Caitling Clark is her. And, of course, I would be amiss if I did not mention that the Charlotte 49ers did win the CBI. Yes, sir. Bryce Williams wins MVP. Shout out to that boy, B. Lavish. Yeah, Ali, Jackson, Trey, Lou, I mean, just everybody. You know, what can I say? You know, a lot of people were like, oh, why did we go to it? This is why we did it. All right, first postseason win, or tournament win, or first season, yeah, tournament championship, should I say, in school history, raise the banner. I was hyped. I don't care that, you know, we paid for it. I don't care. It's the CBI. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. We deserved it. What does the Ronaldo meme say? I deserved it, and I think I will like it. That's exactly how I feel. All right, that's exactly how I feel. Shout out to the boys for getting it done. Shout out to 49er Nation. Good season. Shout out to Coach Sanchez as well. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. And, of course, that has to include NASCAR because it happens every week. And, of course, I have to give a shout-out to my people. Of course, I used to rep them last year. And maybe I will rep them again. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Hire me. I'm a free agent. But 23-11 is on the board for the year 2023. Tyler Reddick gets his first win in the 45. It was a really emotional moment because Kurt Busch was also announcing. But yeah, Reddick, he was great all week. He wins at Coda. Jensen Button, Jordan, is it Jordan Miller? Not only is Jordan Miller, what is his name? Jordan, I cannot remember his name, it's killing me, but he was like a rally car guy. And he did very, very well as well. He was in one of the Kellogg's cars. But yeah, really solid race. Some controversies always at, you know, the road courses, but nonetheless, Reddick gets it done. Shout out to the boy at the 45. Shout out to the Monster team. And yeah, shout out to everybody at 2311. Love you guys. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Tyler, though. Gets the first win of the season. He's in the playoff. How about that? Soccer. Mr. Antonio Conte is no longer going to be managing Spurs. That was a little bit of a surprise, but then again, it's Spurs. Kylian Mbappe was named captain of the French national team and followed it up by toying with the Netherlands defense. So, yeah, I think he'll be all right. I know Griezmann was a little bit, you know, upset about that reportedly. But, I mean, after what Mbappe did at the World Cup, I don't really think you can have much of an argument with the way he stepped up as a leader at halftime and then the way he stepped up on the field as a leader by literally putting the team on his back. So, you know, we'll take it. Hockey. Connor McDavid, Connor McJesus, okay? He had 60 goals. He had 60 goals for the season this week. He's at 139 points. I don't know what he's on pace for, but it's some Gretzky Lemieux number. He's the best player in the world, but the Oilers are still not that good, unfortunately. You have McDavid and Draisaitl, and you just suck. It's terrible. It's the same thing that's happening with the Angels, right? You have Ohtani and Trout, but you just suck. The Oilers have McDavid and Dry and just suck. It's so disappointing. But McDavid is unbelievable. 139 points, 60 goals is ridiculous. So it's a ridiculous season total nowadays. Much less, and not even done with the season total. So yeah, McJesus, still McJesus. Braun is back, and Luka is losing his smile like 1998 HBK. Braun somehow Wolverine from the ankle injury, so he's back. Lakers still lost. In the West, playoff picture is like this. Luka is not very happy right now. People are going to blame it on Kyrie. I don't know what it is, but hopefully he feels better. Don't know what's going on with Luka. He dropped 40, but I guess if you drop 40 and lose to the Charlotte Hornets in 2023, I'd be a little upset. I'd be a little, disgruntled too. So, I kind of understand it. I honestly kind of get it, makes sense. But we'll see what happens in the NBA. Probably talk more about that next week. But for now, once again, thank you guys. YouTube partner, first episode, 138. 2 years in, 2.5 years really. And we got it done, knocked the goal off. So let's keep momentum going. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Without further ado, Ocho signing off.